The American Cream is a rare breed of draft horse. There are only few in existence today and exist mainly as show horses giving carriage rides and impressing tourists. The horse is no doubt popular in that capacity because of its impressive size, cream-colored coat and white mane. Like many American stories about horses in the Old West, the American Cream breed has folklore going back to the early 20th century. A farmer noticed a mare called Old Granny that had a then unique cream color and was of good size for a draft horse. The farmer purchased Old Granny for breeding. The industrialization of American farming caused the breed to nearly disappear. However, in the 1980s interest in the breed returned. The Frisian horse is a breed of horse from Friesland, a province of the Netherlands. Although originally bred as a draft horse, the breed is graceful and nimble for its size and later developed into a finer-boned nobleman steed. During the Middle Ages, Frisian horses were in great demand as destriers throughout Europe since their size enabled them to carry a knight in full armor. After a few close calls with breed extinction, the impressive Frisian horse is now growing in numbers and popularity, proving to excel in both dressage and driving. A few years after the World War I, the Dutch draft was developed by crossing the local Zeeland draft mares with Brabant and Ardennes stock. It was one of the most popular horse breeds in the Netherlands, as it was commonly used in agriculture and farm work in the provinces of North Brabant, Zeeland, and Groningen. After the World War II, increased mechanization and motorization caused a decline in the population of heavy draft horses. However, a number of sound breeding animals were preserved by enthusiasts and breeders. The Koninklijke Vereniging het Nederlandse Trekpaard en de Haflinger was established in the early 20th century for preserving the breed. The Irish draft horse developed as a working horse on Irish farms with references to the breed dating as far back as the 18th century. Due to the small size of farm holdings in Ireland at the time, most farmers could not afford to keep more than one horse, and as a result Irish breeders developed an adaptable draft horse capable of carrying out all of the work on the farm as well as being used for riding, hunting and driving. Consequently, the breed developed to be extremely versatile and intelligent with an excellent temperament and willing nature. The characteristics of the breed make them an ideal leisure and riding horses, and their wonderful temperament makes them easy to work with in any discipline. Irish draft are often used for crossing with other breed or to produce all types of leisure and performance horses. This horse, bred for agricultural purposes, is one of the oldest breeds still in existence. Some believe it to be the oldest. The earliest recorded mention of the Suffolk is in 1586. The breed comes from the East Anglia region of England on the North Sea coast, where agriculture remains an important industry. In addition to their use in the fields, the Suffolks were important to England's wartime efforts. They pulled heavy artillery and were slaughtered for meat during the time of severe rationing of food. Unsurprisingly, the Suffolk Punch is a popular name for pubs in England and imitation pubs in the USA. The Percheron breed was developed in the Perche province of France's Normandy region. Not much is known about the breed's origin, though there are several theories. Many experts believe the earliest Percherons might have been crosses between the hardy barb horses of the moors and large Flemish draft breeds. Arabian bloodlines eventually were introduced to add athleticism and refinement. During the 1800s, the French government further developed the breed to use as cavalry horses. The national breeding farm, Le Pin, still breeds Percherons today, along with several other horse breeds of French origin. The first Percherons arrived in the United States during the mid-1800s, and by the early 1900s, the Percheron was the most popular draft horse breed in the U.S. But like many other heavy working horses, Percheron numbers dwindled as tractors and cars became the new horsepower. The Shire horse, developed in England, traces its history to the days of the Roman conquest and is one of the oldest of the well-defined draft breeds. The name Shire also comes from England, and derives its name from the Saxon word Chiron. Which means to shear or divide, hence the name Shire, that is synonymous with county. King Henry VIII first applied the name Shire to the horse early in the 16th century. The Clydesdale is one of the world's most recognizable breeds of horse as well as the largest. They are famous as the symbol for the Budweiser Brewing Company. The Budweiser Clydesdales are so visible that most believe that their brown coat and white markings are what the breed is always supposed to look like. In fact, when originally bred in Scotland in the early 19th century, the horses were of various colors. The horse was used for farming and carriages. These horses met the same fate as other European draft horses, drafted by the military. Officially registered only in 1952, the Russian heavy draft horse began its evolution toward the status of a distinct breed in the late 19th century. At that time, locally bred peasant horses, essential for agricultural work, were systematically improved by crossing sturdy grade Russian mares with well-established warm blood and draft horses, the Orlov Trotter, Percheron, and primarily Ardennes breeds. This last breed, the Belgian Ardennes, was introduced into Russia in the mid-1880s. Its influence is still evident in the conformation and temperament of the Russian heavy draft. The Russian heavy draft horse has had a significant, but largely unrecorded, influence on improving agricultural stock. Many horses that can still be seen pulling carts in the countryside outside of major cities carry Russian heavy draft blood. History shows that Belgians are direct lineal descendants of the great horse of medieval times. The Belgian, as the name implies, is native to the country of Belgium. This little country is blessed with fertile soil and abundant rainfall, providing the thrifty farmers of Belgium with the excellent pastures and the hay and grain necessary to develop a heavy, powerful breed of horse. Belgium lies in the very center of that area of Western Europe that gave rise to the large black horses known as Flemish horses and referred to as the Great Horses by medieval writers. They are the horses that carried armored knights into battle. Such horses were known to exist in that part of Europe in the time of Caesar. They provided the genetic material from which nearly all the modern draft breeds are fashioned. Thank you for watching. Share to your loved ones.